I am Vactor. I am here with two fantastic individuals. First up, the Power Ranger expert, Tim Costello.
Of course I was lying. I'm not an insipid relative to any of you cretins.
Shoff, how you doing today, Shoff?
I know it's a girl, Nimrod.
Well, those are some fantastic quotes to our fantastic book that we're going to be talking about today. This comic is cooking Power Rangers The Return, Chapter 3, Daughter, written by Amy Jo Johnson and Matt Hodson, illustrated by Nico Leone. So we've been
Power
talking.
Rangers, be good to your daughters.
I was gonna say-
Daughters will inherit your power coins.
Shoff has got
And that
a
in this
song in his
case-
heart.
In this case, literally.
Yeah.
Whoa. That was some fantastic singing by Shoff. And
Thank you.
if you're curious and you want to hear some more fantastic singing, check out our other episodes in this feed on This Comic Cooks, as well as Shoff did the X-Men theme song with some lyrics by the BoJack Horseman creators. So you're definitely going to want to check that out in our feed on This Comic Cooks. But gentlemen, we are here today to talk the penultimate issue of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers The Return. This is what Tim suggested we read, and Tim has not let us down because this comic has been cooking,
Oh
if
my
I do
gosh.
say so myself. Tim, why don't you tell us a brief synopsis of this issue? What happened in The Return, issue 3?
Well, it was confirmed as if we needed the confirmation that indeed Selena is the daughter of Rita and Zed. We got to see Old Man Finster, which I appreciated. When I turned to that page, I was like, "What?" And the beard was on point. Was great. And seeing how Tommy basically risked his life, sacrificed his life to save Rita's daughter, which as just a father I appreciated. So, and I'm going to go with Shoff's prediction that Kimberly was pregnant at the time, and that's why she couldn't make the sacrifice play. But yeah, and then we got to see Olivia Hart as the Green Ranger in the final panel, which was fantastic. I mean, I've known about it for months, but that's fine. It's still effective.
Yes. Shoff, what did you think about this third issue, the penultimate of The Return?
Ooh, I loved it. I loved it because it got us back to the moon. It got us back to the moon. It got us back to seeing sort of like the aftermath of that whole situation. We get a little bit more information about what went down with Tommy and his final encounter with Rita, who wasn't really dead. And she had like
She was
in her
mostly
final
dead.
moments, mostly dead. Yep. In her final moments, she does some weird magic thing. And I got to say, I'm just throwing this out here now, theories wise, Tommy is not dead. Because Tommy had already transported Selena back to Earth using his whatever watch or whatever.
His
it was.
communicator. His communicator.
Yeah.
His Green Ranger stuff. Communicator, thank you. So, but then she does something with him, and like to me, like that he's probably in some kind of stasis or whatever. Like, but the fact that they're back there now, I'm sure that he's going to factor into this final issue, and there will be some like great reunion between Kimberly and Tommy and his daughter that he never got a chance to meet. Like, I think we're leading up to it. That's my personal opinion. I think it's going to happen. And you guys can pay me when I'm right.
That's interesting. I could see it going either way because, and Tim, you may feel this way. It might be that they will go in the route of, we want to respect Jason David Frank. Like we haven't seen him after the fact, right? Like this is this younger version, and there's almost this parallel of what happened in real life and what happens in this comic where you see the funeral and you see the gravestone and you see like the mourning and the passing of Tommy. So I wonder if they will keep it in that direction of, we want to keep it paralleling the real life of he passed away. So we don't want to drag that up, because I almost feel that way with the way that they did Chadwick Boseman on Black Panther of, okay, he died in real life, so we're gonna stick to that in the storyline. In this, I could see them bringing him back, like you said, and that's probably what they definitely would have done if he had lived, if he had, stayed around in real life. And I can also see them trying to be respectful and say, okay, let's leave it, and we're gonna just talk about Kimberly, like this is her story. So I could see it either way. Tim, I don't know if you have any specific opinions on that.
I would actually be inclined to agree with you about that. I could definitely see them going the route that Shoff is suggesting, but the fact that both Trini and Tommy are both dead in this story, just as they were in the 30th anniversary special,
Right.
I mean, Tommy wasn't dead in the 30th anniversary special, I don't think. But
Yeah, I'm trying to think now.
I don't
I
think
can't
he
remember.
was. Because Tommy was in that battle. He wasn't seen, but the Green Ranger was there
Oh, okay.
in
Right.
that episode, that special
Right.
thing. But with this, I kind of think they want to be respectful to Jason David Frank's passing, and in the manner in which he passed. I think they definitely do want to be respectful of that. I think I could see them doing it both ways, honestly.
See, I think my thing is, we know this is an inclusive story, right? Like after this next issue, there's no plans for anything else. This is its own shot. So I think it could wrap it up with a bow. But yeah, like you said, they could just totally honor the fact that he's dead in real life, whatever. Or kind of like with Paul Walker in Fast and the Furious,
right.
They left it open-ended. He's just choosing to be with his family. Like he went a different road. He turned and traveled the other way while Vin Diesel's character went this way. So like, I think there's plenty of ways to still honor someone's memory. And I think like whatever they decide, I'm sure it'll be great. So
absolutely,
I'll be interested to see where they go.
Given the fact that it was co-written by Amy Jo Johnson and she was really close with Jason David Frank, I think she wouldn't do anything that would be disrespectful to his and any of the other cast members' memories. So
yeah. I think this was a great overall issue, and everything took place on the moon. This was like the entire issue was that little, whatever it was, 30 seconds in between that we didn't get like a specific spotlight on in our previous issues, but we kind of hinted at. And I'm really liking that kind of sacrifice of Tommy and elevation of his character, the relationship between Tommy and Kimberly, the daughter coming in as the next generation. And I think we talked about this on a previous episode, like bringing up the next generation while still paying respect to the one that we grew up with. And that's why, like, I have the most reverence for this, like the original group of Power Rangers. I didn't continue on after that. I had the most knowledge of this group. And so I think the people growing up, kind of millennials in my era, and then Tim's, your kind of age group, I think this was a perfect sweet spot for these characters of what they look like now, like what they've gone on to after the show. And I think that it resonates with a huge audience of people who grew up in this time period, but then also keeping with the next generation of their children. And that's interesting that instead of just specifically following the children, you're still staying with the group that you grew up with. So I'm really interested. And Tim, like I said, I'm glad that you brought this to our attention. Not only the fact that it's the original Amy Jo Johnson actor that played the character of Kimberly, but just interesting overall in general. In terms of storytelling, kind of like the Old Man Logan effect of, oh, what is this character in the future as an older person, as a senior, and what have they gone through in their life, and what kind of life experiences have they had? How does that shape them as a character overall?
I also think that Selena is basing her entire revenge arc off of a misconception, right? The idea that she thinks that it's Rita that sent her back to Earth, not Tommy, who was in fact who did it. And then I wonder, well, who was there to witness it other than Tommy that could vouch for the truth of what went down? And I think Finster is really the only one who was there but I don't know if he got a good view of it because the putties were all over Tommy in that whole like final scene. So
and Finster has a bias because he's loyal to Rita, so obviously he wants to continue to foster that spirit of revenge. Oh, let's get the Power Rangers kind of thing. So so there's definitely a sort of bias there from Finster to Selena. So yeah,
but I'm thinking like how will she learn the truth without like the only way she could learn the truth is if Tommy does in fact come back, because then he could be like, no, I'm the one who sent you back to Earth, right?
Or Rita,
or if Rita's still alive.
Yeah,
right.
But hard to say.
Yeah.
And maybe Rita, basically doing something with Tommy was her way of sort of like, okay, you saved my kid, I'm going to save you somehow with a final act. So, but we don't know where Tommy is. But he clearly something happened to him just prior to the buzzer beater of Zero going off and the big bomb, basically cracking up the moon. So I don't know. I'm intrigued to see how this closes out for sure.
Yeah, because we only got one more issue. But I did actually like the scene where Tommy discovers young Selena, and because like he's just like, oh, this bomb's gonna go off and this child is gonna die, and that really affected me because his reaction, I don't remember which page it's on, but the page where he says, oh crap, of realizing that he's gonna save this child from being murdered when she's just being caught in the crossfire. That really stood out to me, because even though they're Power Rangers and they fight monsters and fight putties and all this stuff, they're still people, and they still value life, and because they're the good guys, and so that was really, really powerful.
Yeah. Man, I'm really enjoying this. Tim, I got to get your thoughts on the Power Ranger news that dropped in between our last issue talk and this one.
Yes.
Tell the listeners real quick what's going on in the Power Rangers universe right now.
Okay, what's going on in the Power Rangers universe right now? In comics, there's been, like, for the 30th anniversary, there's been this event called Darkest Hour, and where it's been bringing in lots of different Power Ranger characters, and, like, basically the big bad in the first, like, 6 seasons of Power Rangers, Dark Spectre, is back, and, Rita's Mistress Vile now, and, like, lots of cool things are happening. Like, really cool things. Like, it's basically, Vactor, you've read Marvel Zombies and Deceased. Just think of it like that.
Yes.
Like
oh, really?
They'll morph, and then they'll become like basically slaves to Dark Spectre, which has been really, really cool.
Wow.
And Ryan Parrott, who is a writer on the book, came back for an issue. So that was really cool.
Nice.
Well, then Vactor dropped this news to me, actually. I was on my commute home, and just as I'm picking up my son, and he's like the end of because I saw like Darkest Hour #1. I'm like, okay, they've done that before, and like it's the end of the entire run of comics. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? So so I'm like processing all of this on the commute home, and I looked over at my wife and I'm like, yeah, the new Power Rangers comic is ending, and all she says like, well, that'll save us some money. I'm like, thanks, babe, appreciate you.
Cold-blooded.
That's right.
He's like bawling driving. He's like,
yeah. But she later said, I don't mean to mock your pain, but yeah, just. And then this was like the day before the new issue had come out, and so reading that, I'm like, okay, this is the last volume, this is the last bit. The Power Rangers comic, the main comic, is ending. However, they did say in the announcement that Boom Studios will still be making comic announcements that are related to the Power Rangers stuff. So I have a feeling, this is my theory, that the main Power Rangers line that they've been going for since 2016, that's 8 years, has been going, is going to end. And then I'm thinking they're maybe going to be doing what Turtles is doing and kind of reboot it a little bit. and also maybe redo some new titles. I'm hope because we've got Power Rangers versus Godzilla, which is happening now. I would be lying if I didn't want Tom Taylor to come back for Power Rangers versus Justice League, because that was really fun. Because I love Tom Taylor. He's one of my favorite writers in comics right now. So I also wouldn't mind having Power Rangers versus Ninja Turtles Volume 3, because the first two were fantastic. So yeah. So we'll just have to wait for Comic-Con and see what happens. But I think July is going to be the last issue. And so,
hey man, there's so much stuff happening in July. We talked about this off mic. There's a ton of stuff happening in July.
We got Avengers versus Aliens by Jonathan Hickman coming out. That's gonna be fun. And yeah, there's so many things coming out in July. And then there's August.
We're gonna be covering it.
Yeah, and August is picking up X-Men after the Krakoa age too. So that'll be fun.
Yes, there's a ton of stuff.
But yeah,
and I hope. Yeah, that Tim can survive until then. I hope the grief of losing Power Rangers is not too much.
Yeah,
but we will
be a good run. It's been a good run
about all these things here on This Comic Cooks. Shoff, do you have any closing words to say about this issue, or what are you looking forward to in the next one?
I'm looking forward to the final issue. Is called Family Reunion.
Ooh.
And that as well leading into my thoughts. Tommy's coming back, my friends. Tommy's coming
man
back. So that's what I'm looking forward to. I want to see some more Tommy action. Let's kick it.
Tim's gonna owe you a chicken dinner after this is over.
Yeah,
Shoff.
I want a Mexican pizza, Tim. I want a Mexican pizza.
Me too. I want a Mexican
Tommy
pizza
comes
too.
back and he's reunited with Olivia Hart. That's her name, right? Olivia. Yeah, Olivia Hart and Kimberly Hart. You owe me a Mexican pizza, my friend.
Oh man.
All right.